Right now, this is Fox Montana. Local news at 9. Your local news leader.
Good evening, Montana. Thank you for joining us. I'm Melinda Zosh. News out of the governor's office tonight. Governor Bullock has declared a fire state of emergency for all of Montana following the number of intense fires burning around the Treasure State. In a statement, Governor Bullock said in part wildland fires currently burning have created an imminent threat of disaster with the potential for causing immediate peril to life or property, and that warrants taking extraordinary emergency efforts to avert or minimize damage. I do hereby declare that an emergency exists in the state of Montana, which warrants aggressive attacks on current wildland fires and all new wildland fires that start in Montana. Following this statement, Governor Bullock can now use state resources, emergency funds, and the Montana National Guard to fight back against the fires that are raging across the state. The #1 priority fire in the area tonight, the Rice Ridge Fire, remains at around 10,000 acres today, and an air quality alert remains in effect until Saturday morning. With only 10% containment on the fire, crews continue to build fire lines amid harsh conditions and rough terrain. A public information officer says a lot of work is being done from the air, but ground crews are key, and that the support of the Sealy community over the past few days have popped up around town, and they have thanked firefighters, and that support is not lost on crews. The national fire preparedness level has been raised to its highest level all across the country. Wildfires are monstrous, but on a local level, city governments can't issue smoke masks, and even the worst smoke areas are still not prompting medical evacuations. In Missoula, although the health department does have the power to issue mandatory evacuations for health reasons. When making that decision, they look at how possible it would be to get everyone out of the area.
It's all well and good to say you have to leave because the smoke's too bad. But we have to put that in the context of some of the other risks those folks are facing right now.
If the health department made the decision, it would have to be discussed by medical doctors, county attorney's office, and county commissioners. As for face masks, the health department won't issue them because they won't protect people from fire smoke. A new software program within the city of Great Falls is allowing folks to more easily catch important city meetings. And they're doing that by nothing more than turning on their TV or searching on the web. The new software program is called Novice Agenda. It was originally requested 2 years ago, but was only approved this year in the city budget. The program costs taxpayers about $4,000, but Deputy City Manager Chuck Anderson says it's worth it. Not only can folks catch the meetings online at greatfallsmt.net, they can also watch the meetings on cable channel 190. These options are becoming more important than ever when considering how many people might not realize the service exists.
I think it couldn't hurt for us to do a little bit of community education to let people know that it's available and out there to do. Increase the know-how for folks.
The new program made its debut at last month's City Commission meeting, but Anderson says they're still only about halfway through the full transition. They're hoping to be completely done within the next month or two. Heads up drivers, construction will be starting this weekend along Central Avenue, and it could cause quite a headache for drivers in the downtown area. The city has hired a company to install new storm inlets and curb and gutters along Central Avenue from 5th Street to 6th Street. This project is slated to last until September 11th, and during that time, this part of town will be closed to all through traffic. There will be barricades and detour signs installed for drivers. City officials say to expect some congestion and delays while crews work on the project. However, the area and businesses will still be open to foot traffic. It's almost the middle of August, so you may think that it's too late to get your garden going. But now is actually the perfect time to start planting some flowers and maybe even some vegetables. Earlier today, we stopped by the Ace Hardware store, and workers there tell us you can plant trees, shrubs, even flower bulbs in the fall. If you plant flowers like tulips now, they will bloom in the spring. However, if you're looking to reap those rewards a little bit sooner, you can plant veggies like spinach, peas, kale, and even lettuce.
Actually, they could be planted at any time because we're starting to have cooler nights now, and they're still going to germinate and come up and grow. It's just that they will last longer.
Great tips there. If you want to learn more about gardening, the Northwest Bypass Ace Hardware actually offers free home and gardening classes on most Saturdays throughout the year. Tomorrow, you can learn how to can your fruits and veggies. Of course, we have all those details on our website, kfbb.com. We have a scam alert to pass along, this time from the Cascade County Sheriff's Office, and it involves a call to tell you you owe them money. The scammers are posing as Cascade County deputy sheriffs, the undersheriff, and even U.S. Marshals. These predators are calling people saying they must pay a hefty fine because they missed their jury duty session, and unfortunately, people are paying up because they think it's actually real. But Sheriff Bob Edwards has a solution that could help you out.
Just hang up on them. That's your best recourse, or don't answer at all. I guarantee you, my agency or the Great Falls Police Department or the U.S. Marshals or any law enforcement agency is not going to call you and ask for money.
He says these scammers are becoming more and more tech savvy, which makes it harder to pinpoint where they're calling from. He says if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call the Cascade County Sheriff's Office at 406-454-6820. County elections officials across Montana are challenging Secretary of State Corey Stapleton's knowledge of the state's election system. This in response to his claims of voter fraud. Election officials criticize Stapleton for his repeated statements that voter fraud took place during the May 25th special election. Stapleton's office provided a list of about 1,800 ballots cast during the election that were not counted. He says the state needs to be more focused on voter fraud to prevent it from occurring. But during Stapleton's presentation, some county officials said he lacked the proper understanding of the system he oversees, especially when it comes to why some ballots are rejected. They said his rhetoric weakens the public's confidence in the elections process. The harsh words exchanged between President Donald Trump and the leader of North Korea has the rest of the world feeling tense. After the break, we tell you how some of the allies of both nations are trying to ease these hostilities.
Right now, this is Fox Montana. Local news at 9. Your local news leader.
Good evening, Montana. Thank you for joining us. Many Montanans are under pre-evacuation orders tonight, preparing to leave their homes at a moment's notice. But Sunrise Fire officials say the residents under pre-evacuation are being tricked into thinking they need to evacuate immediately. About 2 days ago, a resident in the Lozo area was approached by a man in a gray hat wearing a white and gray shirt with jeans. According to Mineral County Sheriff Tom Bauer, he told the resident to leave immediately, but it didn't stop there.
Later on, that following day, we received a call at the sheriff's office that someone had called an individual and informed them to evacuate immediately.
Sheriff Bauer says anyone telling you to evacuate should be a law enforcement officer or fire official. He adds the man posing as an official has not yet been found. At the height of fire season, all available resources are desperately needed to respond to emergencies, but misdialing 911 can actually take those fire resources away. Last night, the Summers and Lakeside Fire Department responded to a call of a wildland fire. After attempting to locate the fire for about an hour, it was determined the tip was false. This tied up multiple emergency agencies and Flathead 911 dispatch from actually responding to an emergency. Firefighter Matthew Borlandelli tells us the department is already understaffed and overworked.
We're stretched pretty thin with the number of volunteers we have. And not only that, it calls in resources from other agencies such as DNRC, Montana Highway Patrol.
This fake call cost the department about $1,000 to respond. Misdialing 911 is a crime, and you could face up to $500 in fines and 6 months in jail. The City of Great Falls approved a contract increasing city police officer wages by 5%, totaling $500,000 over the next several years. This after they denied the hiring of 6 new officers. Greg Doyen, city manager for Great Falls, says funds for new officers and raises for the current ones come from 2 different pots of money. He says to hire new officers would have cost more than double what it takes to give current officers a raise. Doyen says that raise, which comes in 2 waves, is more affordable than bringing on new staff.